The looter shooter, a genre containing amazing games such as... Hang on. The Division 2? Okay, let's be honest with ourselves. The only game truly considered a looter shooter is the Borderlands series. Destiny 2, Risk of Rain, Warframe, and yes, even The Division 2. No one really considers those looter shooters. They all fall under vastly different genres. Warframe is an MMO, Destiny 2 is an arena shooter, Risk of Rain is a roguelike, and The Division 2 is a steaming pile of cow shit. When Gearbox would release Borderlands 1 back in 2009, I can guarantee you no one thought the game would explode the way it did. But its unique art style, zany characters, new type of gameplay loop, and 4-player co-op core gameplay would skyrocket the franchise, spawning 2, soon to be 3 sequels, 2 spin-offs, and a god-awful movie no one asked or cared for. Now, before this review, I had played Borderlands once before, back when I was doing weekly game reviews, and it was actually going to be my next review on the docket before I came back to Dead by Daylight. Last time I had played a sniper character, so this time around I went soldier to see if the gameplay loop was any different, and if there was anything more to what I did last time. So keep in mind, going into this review, I already had an idea of what was going on and what was going to happen, but I still tried to look at everything with fresh eyes as a sort of baseline. So how is the first Borderlands? Is it worth all the love that spawned one of the most beloved games of all time, Borderlands 2, or is the fact this franchise is about to get a 6th fucking entry despite a failure of a movie justified? Hi, my name is Kaiser, and this is different from my regular content where I normally do daily Dead by Daylight videos, but I'm starting to branch out more into variety, speaking about everything related to gaming, including video game reviews, video game news, discussions, and more. If that's something that interests you, then please hit that subscribe button because I am trying desperately to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we only have a few months left. So if you want to help out with that goal, please make sure that you do that. Other than that, let's go ahead and jump right into Borderlands 2009. Chapter 1! The story? Borderlands has no story. Oh sure, there's a story there. You are one of 4 mystical vault hunters. You come to the planet Pandora to face the horrors it has to offer in order to collect 3 pieces of a key to open a magical vault that only opens once every 200 years. Along the way, you'll meet various zany characters. Some you befriend, most of them you have to kill. You'll face down the mysterious Atlas Corporation, headed by some Russian bitch who gets killed by the giant monster at the end, spoiler alert, and then face off against the giant monster to finish off your story. Don't let all of this distract you from your one true mission in life, however, which is to murder the shit out of the same copy-paste 5 dudes over and over again until you become completely numb to the act of senseless violence. Realistically, the story exists for the same reason the story in Doom 2016 exists, for the purposes of stringing you along the road, a reason outside of random side quests to move through its world. Speaking of, let's talk about Pandora, the titular planet that you will be doing all of your senseless murdering on. It's set up as this lawless land where murder is the local language, and people go insane from merely existing on it. There's this really cool group of side quests where you track down the audio logs of one Patricia Tannis, a staple character in the series, and you slowly hear her go from a normal scientist lady to an insane, barely understandable scientist lady. Lady. Her mind fractured by the constant death and threat on her own life. But that's really all we get. Oh sure, the game tries to push this idea of a world that drives people mad, but honestly, you don't even notice. Some of the characters don't even talk, and the ones who do have completely forgettable personalities because, well, they might as well all be the exact same personality. Every character is way too comfortable with the idea of death and murder, regards it as just another Tuesday the same way we regard going to work or grocery shopping or furiously masturbating to pictures of early 2000s Hugh Jackman. It's just part of the daily routine. And I get that's supposed to play into the insanity, but the problem is it makes most of the characters virtually undistinguishable from another. Here, I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to describe a character and you tell me who it is. This character gives you a mission or several missions to go kill someone in a bandit camp or small town. They have a big character intro and they will nonchalantly talk about life on Pandora, even though to the normal person it's absolutely horrible. Their demeanor is vaguely calm and they only get excited when referring to their trade. Do you know who it is? Neither the fuck do I, because they all act like that. Zed, Marcus, Scooter, TJ, Helena Pierce, and the half dozen others all talk the exact same fucking way with the exact same demeanors. Another problem is how each of the quests are handed to you. You can either get them from named characters or bounty boards.
There are new bounties available.
Shut up. And while that's cool and all, you don't get to hear the characters explain the quest, so it's all massive text boxes you'll never read because every quest is some variation of go to a place and shoot a thing. And realistically speaking, when the characters do talk to you, it kind of just goes in one ear and out the other, metaphorically speaking, because realistically, every time you're going to... I just realized that my overlay has been on this whole time. I'm not re-recording anything. In any case, the point is that one of the biggest problems here is that when the characters do talk to you, when you do hear their voices, you're not really paying attention because the game is really good at lulling you into this really repetitive motion of go to a place, shoot a thing, go to a place, shoot a thing, go to a place, shoot a thing. And normally when the audio portions are popping up, you're not really listening to them so much as you're kind of vaguely hearing what the characters have to say. So again, they all blend together in quite this really bad ball of indistinguishability. Maybe the quest is to just shoot the things. Maybe you need an object from the things you shoot. Perhaps you might even need an object from the environment that the things you need to shoot are. You'll never care what the reason for the quest is because your only objective in life is more money you'll never spend and more experience you'll want so you can level up your special ability. There's simply no real depth and personality to the characters and the story because it's all done in such a disconnected, one-note way. I don't hate the story and characters because there's nothing for me to hate. It's all so one-dimensional. It'd be like hating a plain bologna sandwich. Sure, it's not bad. I mean, it's bologna after all, but you know you'd rather literally anything else at this point for your lunch. Chapter 2! Oh look, more useless shit! Here's the gameplay loop of Borderlands. Grab a half dozen or so quests, go complete all the quests, shoot everything that moves, fill your inventory with shit you'll never need or use, go back to turn in the quests, sell all your useless shit you'll never need or use, and repeat. And you do this over and over again until you get fucking bored. Enemies in Borderlands are tanky, and will become less tanky as you level up. By the end of the game, as long as you've done every quest available, you'll be so massively overleveled that everything will just fall at your feet. It's worth noting that in both playthroughs, I ended the game at level 36, despite the fact that I did significantly more side questing the second time around. I don't know how that happened, but I'm gonna guess that the true level grinding in this game happens in the DLC, because after I beat the game, I've been playing through the DLC offline as sort of a brain buffer, and it's much of the same thing, just an option to level up and get the rest of the single player achievements. That is actually something I should touch on. While there is a co-op mode, hell, the game is built around the idea of co-op and even balanced for it, I did not play co-op as I have no friends. Maybe someday someone will love me. And to be honest, I also just do not care enough to scrounge up people that might happen to own this 15-year-old game at this point to see how the co-op plays out. That being said, Borderlands resorts to a difficulty style that is slightly more aggravating than it should be. Every enemy takes a shitload of bullets to kill, assuming they are close to your level. You, however, take significantly less bullets to kill. Each gun has an accuracy stat that basically says you can be point blank to a standing still target, have your crosshair center mass, and still miss. So basically, you have enemies who can tank damage like a double-pocketed Roadhog from Overwatch with an accuracy system that causes you to miss shots you should hit, and your body is made out of paper mache. This is a shit way to incur difficulty, as there's no way to use your own skill to overcome that difficulty. It's all about the grind. Grind yourself stupid, viewer. Accept every quest, pick up every item, kill everything even if it gives only 1 XP, and grind like your favorite stripper at that local club who you admire from afar because you are too much of a bitch to talk to because she's hotter than even the most wild of your dreams, grinds that pole you wish was your painful erection. Grind until the cows come home, leave, and come back. Only through a senseless amount of grinding will you level up your background stats enough to cause enough damage that the shit accuracy stat doesn't matter. Bosses in Borderlands are a joke. Fucking... Very punishing, much powerful. Wow. Really, the only one who remotely is a problem is Mad Mel, and that's because he's in a car, and once you realize car combat is shit, you can just hop out and mow him down with whatever weapons you have, because if you've been grinding like I told you to, you'll be stupidly overleveled, and he explodes easily. Even the end boss is a simple matter of shoot the obvious weak points. That's not to say you won't die, but you aren't going to have a hard time either. The only time things become a problem are if you either aren't paying attention to your health, or if you have stumbled into an area too high level for you, and the game is pretty good about preventing that. The heart of the looter shooter is the loot, and the loot is ass. You have 4 types of loot. Weapons, which is self-explanatory. They come in SMG, shotgun, combat rifle, rocket launcher, revolver, repeater pistol, sniper, and grenades. There's also alien weapons, but those are ass, to put simply, and I never used any of them for longer than to test them before trashing them. Next up is the grenade mods. You have tons of options of what wacky things like teleport the grenade, burst into mini nades, stick to enemies like a clingy girlfriend, bounce around like a kid on 10 tons of sugar in a bouncy house, and drain health. All options except health drain also have an elemental damage of the game to make an insane number of different types of nades. Shields are bonus health that have variety of effects like extra health, resistances, exploding when depleted, and more. Shields will regain out of combat automatically. Finally, we have class mods, which increase things like health, ammo regen, gun damage, gun accuracy, and more. They also increase certain skills in your class passively, although annoyingly, you just have to take the game's word for it because those bonuses to your skills do not show up in the skill tree menu. In most games, you can expect that ground loot will be something to sell or tide you over, while chest loot might be something of interest. Bosses and quests normally provide the far superior gear. Not in fucking Borderlands, they fucking don't. Through both playthroughs, I used roughly 5 to 6 guns. Not because I didn't like the variety, but because it takes so long to find weapons, shields, gear, and more that are better than what you currently have. Most of the time, items can be 5 or even 10 levels higher than what you have, but vastly inferior damage, accuracy, and fire rate, which is really fucking annoying. A lot of times, you're just better off keeping what you have, which makes most of the things you find, including from bosses and quests, just more money, which you will use to buy ammo storage upgrades, and nothing else. You can buy health items, but honestly, you're better off picking up a transfusion grenade at your first chance you get and using that all game. Lastly, let's cover the ability system and skill trees. Every character gets a unique ability. Mordecai sends out a bird for single target burst damage. Roland summons a turret that does measly damage but draws aggro. Brick punches people really hard, and Lilith goes invisible, dealing a shockwave crowd control damage when she enters and exits invisibility. I don't know Brick or Lilith's trees as I haven't played either of them, but from what I can see of Mordecai and Roland's trees, everything is roughly the same. There's skills to increase damage and utility of your active ability, skills to increase the gun damage, mag size, and accuracy, and skills to buff your health and or shield usages. Each skill has 5 tiers, and you have to have a certain amount of skill points equipped before the next level in the tree opens up, normally being between 5 or 8 or so. You get a skill point on every level up starting from level 5, and that's it. Really? Like everything else, it's kind of simplistic, to be honest. Oh, I almost forgot. Your active ability can gain artifacts, apply elemental damages to the ability, increasing its damage and helping you with whatever you need. Elements are something I've neglected to mention because, to be honest, they're all just different forms of extra damage. Some enemies are immune or vulnerable to different elements, but in general, fire is for flesh, shock for shield, corrosive for armor, which you won't know which enemies are armored, so good luck with that one, and explosive for crowd control. The game means you to swap between your 4 weapon slots, 1 for each element, but you're better off just sticking with 1 weapon for long to mid range and 1 for short range and leaving it at that. Is the gameplay of Borderlands bad? No. It's just samey. It's nothing more than a mindless cycle meant to occupy your hands while your brain works elsewhere. I don't dislike it, but I don't like it either. It's a family-sized bag of potato chips meant to mindlessly munch on over the gourmet 5-course meal you take your time to enjoy. Chapter 3! Fuck. W key go burr! Borderlands Borderlands has a massive game world, and for the first third of it, your only real option is walking. You technically have a vehicle, but the game will constantly throw up barriers of entry, forcing you to trek large distances for no reason. Other than that, cars are an instant kill to anything you run over and fucking convenient. And I'm not just talking about dungeons, there are wide open areas that the game outright forbids you from driving in. It's kind of annoying. Outside of that, at one point in the game, you unlock a fast travel system that allows you to teleport to key areas, basically making quest turning in a fuck of a lot easier. But most of this game will be spent holding W from one place to another, and it gets very boring very fast. The occasional bandit camp or wild monster will break up your trek, but it's like the devs wanted to make this wide open world, then couldn't figure out what to put in it. Speaking of the wildlife, let's cover those for a moment. There's several creatures on Pandora for you to murder along with the entire population. Skags are these dog-like things that are only vulnerable when they open their big fat fucking mouths. Crystal lobsters are these purple things who have a single eye as a crit spot and are surprisingly easy to take down. Sliffs are these slug-like things. Spider ants have a thick skull and are vulnerable on their hindquarters. And finally we have fucking cliff racers! I mean racks. I don't know what it is with open world games and making bird-like enemies the single most annoying fucking things in the world, but holy fuck do I hate racks with a burning passion. There's always too damn many of them, and they come out of nowhere and shred your health like the CIA shreds documents ordering the assassination of civil rights leaders. I fucking hate these damn things, and you can guarantee that right when I think I'm safe, there's always one or two more of them waiting to jump me like the overexpressive fangirls jump the bones of Hugh Jackman when he's trying to eat at a restaurant. Dotting the landscape, like I said before, are also bandit camps, small towns of sorts, and more. You'll normally find a handful of victims along with some chests at the end, and you'll always get these red boss chests, guaranteed to have weapons and ammo. Let me get some boss chest action here. The fuck is that? As for the dungeons of the game, they are fine, I guess. There's a lot of backtracking. Some dungeons have a shortcut back to the beginning, but in reality, you'll be backtracking about half the time. I do like how not every dungeon is a cave or a bandit hideout. Some places are outside, like Crom's Canyon, for example. It's a nice variety. Overall, traversing the world of Borderlands is like the gameplay and story elements. Not bad, but not good either. If you've been enjoying the review so far, then head on over to my second channel, the Kaiser Extras, link down in the description. Over there you'll find plenty of playlists of all of the games that I've played and reviewed here on this channel, including, of course, Borderlands, which has every single second of gameplay, so you can see exactly how I've came to my conclusions that I did in this review. I'll see you guys over there, link is in the description. Chapter 4, Cell Shaded and Pretty. The most intriguing thing to me about Borderlands is its art style. I'm not sure if Borderlands invented the cel-shaded art style, but it sure as hell popularized it. I read an article that said that the art direction actually switched last minute. The game was basically 3/4 of the way done, and then this style was pulled directly out of someone's ass. I had a hard time finding the name of the comic book artist that helped them, and that's rather infuriating. However, it is pretty well known that the original art director was so pissed they scrapped her work, she retired from game design altogether, which, I mean, yeah, I kind of understand. Sad backstory aside, I will say that the game is beautiful in its own right. The comic book style is obvious, and it really causes the game to stand out. No other game can be confused for Borderlands, and this style would go on to define the series in such a unique way that I love the look of any Borderlands game I see. Character designs are interesting and cool to look at. Environments are sprawling and varied. Sometimes. There are problems like how scrapyards seem to be the common aesthetic. Pandora really needs someone to throw a house or two that isn't made of old pipes and depression. I kind of hate how each major area is mostly the same design. A good design, one that's well done, but the same nonetheless. Even sub-areas don't have much different in them. Every cave is a cave, every hideout is a hideout. It's supposed to have this post-apocalyptic feel, which is great, but it could have done with some greenery here or there, perhaps a place where the wildlife truly took over. There's this really pretty cave where these things called Guardians live, and we get to see it for all of 5 minutes before we are walking right back out, and that's really disappointing. The UI elements are also kind of interesting. They're very bland, but they're also a little bit overcomplicated. A minor nitpick that I have is something like the comparison system. Instead of just hovering over an item to see how it compares to your current item, you have to click on the item, click on compare, and then scroll down to the item you currently have equipped, which is just way too much. And the UI can get really cluttered when you're in that actual menu because there's just so much information being thrown at you. However, the UI within the game is actually not that bad. I will say that one of my problems is that there's no mini-map, which I guess I could have put in the traversal section, I just forgot to, but not having a mini-map is a legitimate issue. Having to keep pressing the M key to go back to the map to see where the fuck I'm going is really annoying, and the compass only helps so much because it just gives you the straight shot, not the actual directions you have to take. The music is pretty good, nothing to write home about. It's a pretty solid rock soundtrack that does its job for what it needs, but I'm not out here hunting down the OST from my playlist or anything. Overall, the presentation, while not incredibly varied, is unique enough that I can't be mad at it, and I do quite enjoy my time admiring it. Chapter 5! Claptrap! Fuck! Claptrap! Yes, my burning hatred for this character runs so deep I am dedicating an entire section of this video to just bitching about this stupid fucking robot and how ungodly fucking obnoxious he is. Claptrap will remind you of quests that need to be picked up. The problem is, this is when he reminds you every fucking time you enter a new area, even if you are on your fucking way to pick up the goddamn quest. He will talk your ear off in the most shrill voice imaginable for ages about obvious shit you already know about, and there is no way to turn him the fuck off. You find other Claptraps throughout the game, mostly the ones laying on the floor needing to be repaired, that will give you pack upgrades, and when you repair them, and they are all fucking annoying. Every single one of them talks in that voice. Oh my fucking god, that voice. I know the purpose was to make the annoying character for the sake of comedy, but purposely annoying is still fucking annoying. I'd rather be forced to listen to Navi from Ocarina of Time perform a cover of Rebecca Black's Friday on loop for 10 years straight, as I am forced to watch every Fred video on loop, then listen to Claptrap for another goddamn moment of my life. If Claptrap has no haters, I am dead. Not only am I dead, but my soul has passed on, for the burning hatred I have for this shit box on a single wheel is so vast and runs so deep that the very emotion will carry my soul through the world, cursing his name like an anger version of the vengeance that kept Clockwork alive in the Sly Cooper series. Do you understand me when I say Claptrap is shit? He is fucking annoying, and I hate every moment I don't have the opportunity to fucking kill him over and over and over again. Chapter 6, Conclusion. Is Borderlands a bad game? No. Is it a good game? Also no. It's just kind of there. A decent time waster made not for the purposes of engaging you in the thrilling tale of treasure hunting and the lives of the desolate ruined planet, but more just to have funny billets go into the screaming guys and nothing more. It's a middle of the road, good enough to play, but not good enough to dwell on. I do recommend it, if only once so you can maybe have the experience, but no matter how bland it may be. The best way to summarize Borderlands would be its ending. You travel to the vault and you don't even go into it. You kill the monster that comes out of it, and that's it. The game plops you back into the world. You have a couple of quests that don't do much, and you can play the DLC, and that's all there is. No fanfare, no great finale, no long ending cutscene. It just ends. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's what Borderlands is, a shooter to occupy yourself. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's all I have for you guys for this video. If you've ever played Borderlands before, then let me know what you think down below of the game and of your time with it. And if you haven't, then let me know what you think about this video. And as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Need more Kaiser in your life? Well, I've got you covered. Check out my second channel, The Kaiser Extras, where I upload full gameplays, stream compilations, me reacting to your Dead by Daylight clips, and more. We also upload a daily short with all the greatest clips from stream. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description.